Hey, it's Global Politics with Jim Martin. Today I wanted to give you an update on German defense spending. So, for years, the German Constitution has contained a debt brake, which means that the German government was restricted from borrowing money to fund projects, and pretty severely so. There's been talk of removing that debt brake for some time, especially since the beginning of the war in Ukraine, and that has happened. So the Chancellor in waiting, Friedrich Merz, and his SPD coalition likely partners have come together to vote in the elimination of that debt brake and have also pledged to spend approximately $500 billion to revitalize the German defense infrastructure and to begin to produce weapons at a mass scale. They also increased their contributions to Ukraine by a considerable amount as well over the next year. So what does this mean? So in the context of things, $500 billion is a lot of money, and it will buy you a lot of things. For comparison, Germany had been spending the required figure, I think around 2% or a little bit above of their GDP, which represented something like $70 billion per year on their defense infrastructure. So $500 billion is a lot more. Why did they choose this moment to do this? Well, it's pretty obvious. Donald Trump and his administration have made really no secret of their disdain for NATO, for their European partners, and openly questioned whether or not we would meet our commitments if a NATO member happened to be attacked. That is a dangerous and scary situation for Germans. And I would remind everyone of the current political climate in Germany. So you've got political parties representing the traditional center, center-right, center-left sorts. And then you have a neo-Nazi party in the AfD, capturing about 20% of public support. Doesn't take much to kick back and think what might happen if there were to be a major problem with the German economy, or say a worldwide recession, or worse, as to the sort of support that the AfD might receive in the future. And these people also support getting rid of the debt brake and increasing German military spending. It's a challenge, for sure. Historically, when Germans get scared, bad things happen. I feel like I'm a broken record here, but alliances matter. NATO exists for more than simply keeping the Russians out of Europe. It also has an ameliorating effect on the nationalism that can arise in countries of Europe. Also, some historical context would be useful here in considering that after World War II, Germany was prohibited from having a standing army for all intents and purposes until the 50s, when the Cold War began to emerge. After that happened, you begin to see the construction of a military, but generally speaking, for quite some years, Germany was operating under the constraints of the NATO alliance, and specifically the United States, and thus had adapted really quite a pacifist sort of approach to things. It was many decades before Germans were employed to support any sort of operations. Beginning with Afghanistan, they began to do that, but generally in logistics and support roles rather than combat roles. So, that's another consideration, is that this represents another step in the sea change that is occurring in Germany over the idea of militarism and defense spending generally. So, hope that's interesting to you. Welcome your comments and look forward to talking to you again soon.